Earl, let's play a little game here, bro. Let's play a game.
All right, Fence Riders, question number 1.
There's only one unanimous one, by the way.
Will Jamar Chase have more receiving yards than Travis Kelce?
The answers?
The answer is?
Split.
Oh, look at the two that said no.
Well, the Bengals have a lot more high-end options than Kansas City does. In a game like this, you're going to go to what you know and what you trust. And I just think, T. Higgins is going to eat into Jamar Chase a little bit. Tyler Boyd will eat into Jamar Chase. Listen, I got burned on a Jamar Chase bet of 9 catches, 85 yards. He had 9 catches, 84 yards. I think Kelce goes over 100 in this game. And
Also,
Chase is probably around 80, 90 again.
Kelce had 14 receptions last game, which set a new playoff record for receptions in a single game. If Mahomes isn't 100% healthy, they're going to throw a bunch of quick passes to Kelce.
That's exactly it.
And if Chad Henne comes in, we saw Chad Henne, 4 of his 6 attempts went to Kelce. He's going to get the targets out the wazoo. You can try and quadruple team Kelce. He's still going to find a way to get the rock. And I just think they're going to feed him, knowing Mahomes is limited, can't scramble around. Chase is always a good option. It's hard to go against Jamar Chase.
Chase can blow the top off in one play. One play.
That's a scary factor. He could have 1 catch for 90 yards. Kelce had 14 for 87. That could be the difference. But give me the guy with volume over the guy with big play potential. Earl, what do you think on this one, by the way?
Oh, man, that's tough. I'm going Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a gamer. Dude is like one of those X Factor type dudes that no matter what's going on, what the situation is, he going to get his. And he's clearly showed he's not afraid of the big moment. He's killed Kansas City all 3 games they've played in the past. I think he's going to continue that.
Joe Burrow has 2, by the way. And we're going to get to Burrow in a sec here. But those Mahomes-Burrow comparison numbers, it's a tough pill to swallow when you're making the case for who's the best quarterback in football. So,
all right. We're on number 2.
Big facts. Question number 2.
Let's do it.
Will the Kansas City Chiefs sack Joe Burrow 3 or more times on Sunday? And the answer is?
I thought I'd be the lone nugget here.
The lone spicy nugget.
Explain yourself, Nugget.
Okay, so last week the Bengals offensive line started 3 backups, and they played phenomenal against Buffalo, taking nothing away from their performance. 2 weeks ago, Adam the Bull said he'd rather have Ken Carman at left tackle than Jackson Carman. And guess what? He was right, but Jackson Carman came back, redeemed himself. However, the Chiefs' defensive line and the Bills' defensive line minus Von Miller are 2 completely separate beasts. On the inside, you have Chris Jones, who's one of the 3 finalists for Defensive Player of the Year, 15.5 sacks. Do you know Frank Clark is 3rd all-time in playoff sacks? In the history of football, wow. 3rd all-time in playoff sacks. And I do think Burrow's going to run around, extend plays. That leads, as we saw with Watson. Sometimes that can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think 3 sacks is crazy. I'm not surprised the majority of you guys went no, considering he only took 1 sack against Buffalo. That offensive line's coming off his best performance of the year. But I do think we are talking about a Chiefs defensive line, which is here, not in snow, versus a Buffalo Bills defensive line, which without snow is here, in snow is down a step. And we're talking again about, once again, Chris Jones, arguably the best interior pass rusher in football, and Frank Clark, who always steps up in the postseason going against multiple backups for the Bengals. I wanted to go against the grain here. I think they're going to get 3 sacks.
This question made me pause. It took me a minute. It wasn't an easy one, but 3 is a pretty big number.
See, I felt 2 was too low.
Probably.
2.5's the over-under when you write it like that. So that was the thought process.
And I totally agree with what you said. The Bengals offensive line was awful 2 weeks ago, and it was significantly better last week. So what's the reality? Probably somewhere in the middle. This was close. This was close for me, but I took the under.
I don't think they're going to take I went no, obviously, and then I don't think they're going to get 3 sacks on them, because now you're in a game where you're 1 game away from hitting pay dirt here, right? So I think everybody ups their game. You're talking about 60 minutes of action, 60, right? If I can't hold the fort down for 60 minutes, and you're not even playing the full 60, at best you're playing 30.
32 minutes.
Yeah, at best. Right? So I think everybody picks up their game and they hold it tight for Burrow. Because I got Cincinnati taking Kansas City down in Kansas City.
We're gonna give picks tomorrow. Save that. But, Brad, don't you think at the same time, while what you said is correct, we could see Burrow try to extend plays a bit, get out of the pocket, look for that home run play, especially if it's close, which, as we saw with Watson, could lead to a guy run to a coverage sack. Because the Chiefs secondary, it's not great. They did a pretty damn good job locking up some of these receivers at the end of the season.
Yeah, but I don't think they've seen Chase, Higgins.
They haven't.
It's
not apples to apples.
They haven't seen that, right? So, and then here, you leaving one person out.
Makes it.
Hurst is a player. Hurst, the tight end, is a player.
Hayden Hurst, yeah.
He's a player.
He's
and you
good.
got Mixon out the backfield.
Hurst was a first-round pick.
It's a problem.
I'm also counting on, I guess, Burrow getting rid of it.
Quick, he
Instead
does.
of, and,
Yeah.
Well, no, just even on plays, if it's not there, trying to extend it and then just dumping it, dirting it, getting rid of it.
I think
rather
y'all
than
keeping
taking the sack.
y'all forgetting Tyler Boyd as well. He's killed
Boyd's in
Cincinnati
there.
all 3 games as well.
Well, let me throw you a curveball. Remember when the Bengals played the Browns that second game and they did the reverse pass to Chase and then he got tackled by Garrett? It counted as a sack for Garrett.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they get 2 real sacks and 1 cheesy fake play sack. I don't know. I'll be the lone nugget on the top of the fence.
Yeah.
King McNugget. It is what it is, fellas. It is what it is.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 3.
This one's unanimous. This was the one unanimous
Is
one.
Joe Burrow better than Patrick Mahomes?
I tried making Bull bite
The
on you
answer
so
is-
bad. I thought Bull was going to
Yeah,
bite.
no, this one was easy.
No.
Okay.
No explanation
let me
needed.
let me ask this, though.
No.
If Burrow beats
No.
Kansas City, that wouldn't change your mind at
No,
all.
would not change our
Brad,
mind.
would you even consider? Because I'm with you. I don't think yet at this point Burrow is at that. It's Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's Burrow. Then it's a drop off to everyone else. If this game does go Cincinnati's favor, Burrow balls out. Mahomes, I don't want to say he gets a pass, but the dude is hurt clearly.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Would it change your opinion if this game goes that way?
No, but you have to take the injury into account. But I do think I clumsily tried asking Chris Rose this, and it came out wrong. But if Cincinnati wins this game, I think there's going to be a lot of questions about Kansas City, and just the fact that the expectations were so high with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. If they yet again fail to get to the Super Bowl, it's failed expectations, and it may be unfair because the AFC is so good. But, I mean, I thought Kansas City had multiple Super Bowl rings by now when the way that these guys exploded onto the scene. So, I mean, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And he's in a tier by himself. But Burrow is emerging. I thought Josh Allen was the second best, and I don't think that anymore.
No.
Burrow's 2 now.
Well, here, by far, Mahomes is a better quarterback than Burrow.
I don't know if
right?
I'd say by far.
By far. By far.
By
say
far.
by far, too?
By far.
Yeah.
By far. And that's no slight against Burrow.
No, it's fair.
'Cause I like Burrow.
Fair.
There's no slight against Burrow.
Would you agree they're 1 and 2? No,
Yeah, there's no question
okay.
1 and 2.
Okay.
But the other thing is this, and to your point about Super Bowls, that's on paper. You have to play the game here, right? And the only decisions are made about who's going anywhere is going to be decided in that box. That's where it's going to be, in the 60 minutes of that box. That's where it is, right? I don't care what the papers say, the stats say. It's 60. When you get to the door, when you get to the front door, and you got to knock to come in, it's about who's got the willpower for those 60 minutes to get you through, right? And that don't mean you're the best team. You were best in those 60 minutes to get on by, right? And that's what this is going to come down. This is going to be a game this weekend.
It is.
Yes, this is going to be a game this weekend. It's absolutely going to be a game.
Have you guys seen how the lines changed?
It's crazy.
It started with Kansas City favored. Then it went as much as 1.5 Cincinnati favored. Now this morning, Kansas City's favored again.
Is it really?
Yeah, by 1 point. So it has swung back and
Wildly.
forth, back and forth. Let me ask you guys this question before we move to the next one. Do you think there's a closer gap between 1 and 2, Mahomes to Burrow, than there is to 2 and 3, Burrow to Allen? Or which gap is closer?
2 to 3.
2 to 3 is closer?
Patrick Mahomes is in a class by himself.
Okay.
And there's no one else knocking on that door. I think you can still have a debate over who do you like better, Burrow or Allen. But there's no debate to me who's number one.
I think the closest one between Burrow and Mahomes, right? I think that he's Mahomes by far, but I'm saying the gap between Burrow and Allen, because it's a mountain because Allen has fallen to the point now where he's starting to disappoint people, right?
Yeah.
He's becoming, I won't say Dak Prescott.
Oh,
but,
Lord,
I'm
no.
not saying that, but I'm saying the level of disappointment out of Buffalo now is like, because you were sitting here thinking like, this was the ticket. We're ready to go here.
I mean, I thought Buffalo's won the Super Bowl this year, but I think there is some recency bias to the fact that they just lost. I would still take Josh Allen on my team like that.
Oh, no,
like
we're
that.
not saying that. Come on now. But I'm just saying.
Mahomes is the class of quarterback play. He can do things physically that Joe Burrow can't do.
Facts.
He can make plays that no one else in the league can
The
do.
one thing that Burrow does, he just wins. He just wins.
I tweeted
I got a
this
question
out.
for all 3 of y'all.
Shoot, and then I got one more Burrow one, then we'll move on. What's up?
The gap 2 to 3. Is 3 definitely Allen, though?
Oh, there's no question. Who jumping over
I mean,
him?
I guess you can make the case for Herbert, I guess.
Oh, no, you can't.
But
No, you can't.
I think Allen.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I think Allen is
No, you can't.
No,
No.
those are the
He's
three
solidly
for me.
in 3.
Who would you put?
No, it was just a question.
oh,
I'm just
okay.
thinking about this past year.
Brock Purdy?
You know, never.
Well, I mean, Jay would put Baker.
Dak.
Jay would
Sorry,
definitely
Jay.
put Baker.
Jalen Hurts. Is that what we doing?
I mean, but like based on this year's play, Hurts is in that top 3, 4. I mean,
No.
maybe top 2.
I mean, he's having a
based
great
on-
season.
No, I'm saying based on just this year alone.
No. He's having a great season. He's not them 3. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Well, he's going to finish second in the MVP vote.
I don't care about that. He's not those 3.
Well, I'm saying just if you take this season in a
You
cap,
can look at this season and put it in a package and wrap it up with a bow. He's still not them 3.
Hurts had a great year.
Those
but
3 are
I'd
different.
still take Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen.
Those 3 are different.
I would too.
over
I was
any-
just saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on Jalen.
Yeah, he's just.
Those 3 are different.
Listen, I was just saying based on this one season.
I'm hoping my guy here in Cleveland returns to form here, right? Because if he returns to form, he's in the conversation.
Last thing with Burrow before we move on. Do you see more Tom Brady or Peyton Manning in Joe Burrow?
Brady. I see more Brady because he's not.
See,
I want to explain this right.
because I have a different thought, but I want to hear yours first, and I'll rebuke.
Joe just wins like Tom. Like Joe just figures it out.
Yeah.
He's not the most physically gifted guy. He's not imposing when you look at him. I think Peyton processed the game at a different speed and a different level than anybody else, including Brady. He just saw it differently, and he could make throws that I think Brady doesn't make, frankly. But Tom just knew how to win, and he knew how to put guys in position to win. That's what I see out of Burrow.
I wouldn't say Brady or Manning. You know who I would compare Burrow to?
If you say Michael Jordan, Brad, I'm getting.
Oh no, I'm saying football. Montana.
I'm too young for that, but okay.
Montana.
Tell me why.
But he's in that same
because
mold.
Montana knew how to. He wasn't the most gifted guy,
Right.
But he knew how to win, and every team he was on, they figured a way to win. He did, and with less people. Because remember when he left San Francisco, Jason?
Went to
and went to Kansas City, and they were like, Kansas City ain't gonna do nothing.
And they won there.
They won in Kansas City.
Did he win a title in Kansas City?
No.
No, but he had them.
He
They
got
were
him to
damn
playoffs.
good.
Yeah.
They were damn
Yeah.
good, right?
But he's in, and I paused to compare Burrow to Brady because Brady's the best to
Yeah.
ever do
Yeah.
it, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying Burrow is that.
Just shades of.
Shades of just the way that they just figure out a way to win.
When I watch Burrow, to me, it's athletic Peyton Manning. It is the cerebralness of Peyton Manning combined with the average athleticism of a modern-day quarterback.
Yeah.
And Peyton
That's
was
what Montana was.
and maybe that is exactly what Joe Montana was, and that's a better comparison.
You too young. You too young to remember Montana.
And they had the same nickname, Joe Cool.
Joe Cool,
yeah.
yeah.
And Montana was. Go ahead, Earl.
I've heard on several occasions that Joe Burrow is more like Peyton Manning, but Josh Allen is more like Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Josh Allen's the modern-day Phillip Rivers in that sense. If you're going to say it's Mahomes, Burrow, and then drop off, Rivers was always 3 in that Brady.
Yeah, I think it's too early because Rivers to me is a guy who never really quite met what
Full
he could have been.
expectations.
Yeah, what he could have
That's
been. Allen right now to me is Dan Marino, actually.
Yeah, that's a better
Yeah,
comparison.
I think Allen's Dan Marino, but he's still so early and young in his career. They haven't met expectations at this point.
But that
He's got a
Marino-
lot of
He's only
football in front of him.
25 or 7. Allen's young, too. He's
Yeah,
25 or
that's what I'm
26,
saying. He's
yeah.
got a lot of football.
That
in front of
Marino
him.
could sling that ball.
Yes, he
Yes, he
could.
could.
All right, Earl, you ready to go to the
All right, question
NFC?
number 4. Question number 4. Will Christian McCaffrey have more rushing touchdowns than Jalen Hurts on Sunday? And the answer is
This was another split one.
split.
Jason, you want to go first, and me and Brad will defend ourselves?
I didn't really have a strong opinion on this one or the other. Honestly, I didn't remember how I answered it. I kind of pulled a G. I was waiting for it to go up because I didn't know. I think McCaffrey gets in once. I don't think Jalen scores.
Fair enough. Brad?
I said no because Jalen Hurts is going to score, right? Anything close. If you saw it last week, right?
Yep.
I thought they were going to throw the ball. He like, I ain't throwing the ball. I'm going to beat you to the corner.
Yep.
And could nobody catch him? Nobody, right? That's the fear when you get around in the red zone with Jalen Hurts because he'll peel out on you. And he doesn't look like he's moving that fast.
But he's moving.
But he's moving.
He's moving.
And when I saw them linebackers and DBs couldn't catch up to him, I was like, oh, he's really moving, right?
And when they're in the red zone, Brad hit it on the head here. Jalen Hurts is option 1, 2, and 3 in the red zone. And it's his legs, and then it's his legs with a pass option.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
RPO. So I do think when they get to the red zone, which we're going to get to how high we think this game is going to be scoring-wise in a sec, I particularly don't think it will be very high, not to give away my answer for question number 6. But when they get down there, those opportunities are going to be crucial. They're going to go to what they do best, and I think that's Jalen Hurts running the ball with 10 guys blocking. So I think it's 2-1. I think McCaffrey does find the end zone. I think Hurts scores twice.
All right, we're gonna move on to question number 5. Will Brock Purdy throw for more yards than Jalen Hurts on Sunday? The answer is
Should I start?
All right, Nugget, defend yourself.
So just like I said, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, a very low-scoring game,
Yeah.
and I think the Eagles are going to run the ball a lot with Hurts. I wouldn't be surprised if Hurts has 15 to 20 carries in this game.
Oh, I think it's too many. I think it's high.
I think it's going to be 15 to 20 carries. On the flip side with Purdy, they're going to establish the run. They're going to do a bunch of quick passes, and no team in the league is better at yards after the catch than San Francisco. I'm not saying in air yards he's going to throw the ball deep, but I think we could see Debo, I think McCaffrey,
A lot of
Kittle, catch and run, Brandon Ayuk. They have weapons galore. They did a phenomenal job putting together this roster where they have weapons who, at one point, Ayuk was in Shanahan's doghouse. Now the dude's a legit number 2 receiver in football. Debo Samuel, wide back, McCaffrey. They're so versatile that I think neither quarterback throws for a ton of yards, but give me Purdy with 2 or 3 medium-length passes that go for big gains over Hurts. So I think he's going to kind of dink and dunk his way down the field for the majority of the contest.
crazy.
I'm excited that these two teams are in the NFC title game because I thought all year long they were the 2 best in the NFC, and you don't always get that. So I'm just glad that this is the matchup.
These are the 4 best teams in football, by the way. I think for very rare.
I'm still salty about Buffalo because I thought it'd be Buffalo, KC, and
their defense just wasn't as good down the stretch. Like it did fall off.
But in terms of this question, I'm just not a Brock Purdy guy. I think that he's and this is why. Go back to the question we had last week. Who do you have the most faith in? To me, it was Kyle Shanahan. I think he's the best-minded football right now, frankly, and he just puts his guys in position to win. And so I think Purdy's success is a credit to Shanahan. I like the weapons that Jalen has to throw to. I agree with you. I don't think either one of these guys. No one's throwing for 300 yards in this game. 200 to 220 might actually be
the number,
the right answer.
The cap. Yeah.
The Deshaun Watson games.
And I'll take Jalen Hurts over Purdy in the
Deshaun Watson 2022.
This modern day version that we've seen this
2022.
year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was throwing for 350 a game in 2019.
Yeah, that's what I said 2022.
Brady,
Mike, I got a question.
Shoot.
Why do you feel like Philly don't have weapons?
Oh, they have weapons galore.
Well, hear me out. You said he's going to run the ball 15 to 20 times, but he got 2 wide receivers who went over 1,000 yards.
They run a ton of RPOs, and I think with the defensive interior tackles, with Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, like that defensive line stuffs the run. They're the number 1 run-stop team in the league, which means on all those RPOs, I think it's going to be fake to the running back, keep it himself, scramble.
I think it's going to be more Miles Sanders, more Gainwell. I think it's going to be split up probably about 12-12, maybe 7 for Hurts, but
Did you see
the
the
49ers defense is
Cowboys try to
strong.
run on the Niners this weekend, Earl? Zeke averaged
they're gonna try it.
like 1.8 yards per carry. I think it's really tough to run in the interior there.
This
which
is
why
my
we're going to
thing,
see
though.
the outside.
The
runs with
defense is
Hurts.
strong. The front 7 is strong, but their weakness is their secondary. And you got 2 wide receivers that can take the top off.
Yeah.
Physical dudes. So I don't know. I don't see Purdy out dueling Jalen Hurts.
I'm going with like 217 for Purdy, 209 for Hurts. Like it.
I don't think Purdy cracks 200.
I'm with Jason. I don't think he cracked
175, 180.
I'm only wrong one day.
And they could win.
Sometimes it's Thursdays.
They could win with Purdy 175, 180
Yeah.
easy this game. But I don't think Purdy cracks 200.
And that leads us right to our last question, right, Earl?
Question number 6. Will the winning team in this game score more than 23 points? Yes or no?
You guys know how I'm leaning on this one. Me and G said no. You guys start. I'll tell you why you're wrong, but you guys start.
Well, this was the one I struggled with the most because I think 24 probably wins it. If you just said 24, I'd said no. Like literally at one point, I think that 23-24 window. This is an easy under game for me. The AFC game's an over. This is an under. These are 2 really good defenses, and I could easily see 23-20, 24-21 being the win.
What's the over-under line?
46.
Yeah, I like the under too.
I think this is 40. I think the NFC is 46 and the AFC is 48.5.
I'll look it up, Brad, while you go.
I think.
You see, I never check the line, right? I always see what my eyes tell me. I just see more than 23 points being scored here. I just do. I feel like there are enough weapons on both sides of the ball, right, that you can get it going, right? And I think that both quarterbacks have done a marvelous job in getting their crews together. The weapons that are being deployed here are at such a level, playing at such a peak level that it makes it hard on everybody to say that not one of the guys is producing. So at any point, the thing could go sideways, right? More than sideways, right? So I think there's a chance.
Yeah, I look at the San Francisco defense, which did it allow a touchdown in the second half to Seattle, or was it a complete shutout? They gave a garbage time touchdown late, right? Was
I
it
don't
7
remember.
points? Well, I think it was 7 points. They allowed 12 to Dallas, who missed some opportunities to score. But either way, their defense is playing elite. I think 19 points total, either 12 or 19. It's even better if it's 12. Over the last 3 halves of defense, the Giants' offense was despicable against the Eagles on Saturday night. But their defense, that's not taken away from their defense. Their defense was phenomenal. They had 4 guys. Philly had 4 guys this year with double-digit sacks.
It's crazy.
4 different players with double-digit sacks, and the Browns had one guy with more than 4 sacks this year. So you look at the discrepancy there. Both teams can get pressure on the quarterback. Both teams fly to the ball. And I know Earl just mentioned the weakness of the Niners' defense being their secondary. Well, the secondary is good. It's just that their front 7 is elite. So I think it's going to be a lot of tough points to come by, and I do think I'm not going to give my pick till tomorrow. I think the final score of this game is like 20-16, something ugly like that.
Easily could be.
Something ugly like that, and the over/under is 46.5. I just placed a bet on that. Just being honest, I did it while Brad was going. I just put a little bet on that. So
You
I
boys.
think I might follow your lead on that one.
listen, if we all agree on something, it never happens. So someone has to take the over.
I got a Bengals over parlay with Niners under.
You like the over/under doubles. It's great odds.
It's
I mean,
yet to hit, so I don't know
Yeah,
why I like it. I've yet to pull one off.
Earl, how'd your first No Friends Riders go? You did a good job.
It was a challenge, but we hung in there. We got through it. Director Steve coached me up.
It's the toughest. It's the toughest segment from that side of the booth that we do.
My co-producer, he gave me some notes to go over. So this is what we want to see from the Browns coaching staff.
Yes, collaboration
in the
makes
moment,
success.
collaboration, coaching, getting this thing in the right direction.
Halftime adjustment. That's what Jim Schwartz is best at. And speaking of adjustments, Earl, we came in this morning with a different plan for something to do at 12:30.